Niall.
Gideon.
Dylan.
2 episodes in a row where all 3 of us are here. That's been a rare occurrence recently.
I'm here again.
We're doing
I
it.
haven't disappeared.
It's not just me in my bedroom, like, speaking for a minute about how we can't do a podcast this week.
Yeah.
We mentioned it at the end of the last episode, but it's been bloody hot in the UK for the past few
Really has
days.
been.
Or like the past week. It's boiling hot. We're all low on
I
energy.
only
because
have
we're
2
trying to
pairs of
maintain.
shorts as well, and they're both in the wash right now, so I'm having to wear trackies, and it's horrible.
Ooh, don't like that.
Well, I have 0 pairs of
Right,
shorts.
that's because you
Nice.
live in
And it's
denim.
not like I can go to a shop and buy
You
one.
live in
To be fair, you
denim.
do just wear denim.
I do just purely wear denim.
He
to be
wears
fair.
triple
I'm not-
denim.
I'm actually not wearing denim right
Oh my
now.
God.
This is a fact that you should know.
I
Niall
have
is
never
never not
worn-
wearing triple denim.
I have never worn triple denim in my life. I will
You've worn
defend
double
double
denim.
denim, okay, though. I will
A
defend
lot.
double denim. I wear it a lot, but I only wear double denim if it's like different shades of denim because of that. I feel like that
'Cause
looks
you're
Yeah,
a
to be
if it's all
fair,
the
I
same
never
shade,
do like
it
Britney and
looks
Justin
awful.
Timberlake double denim.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks dreadful. But like, if it's like I wear like dark jeans
Yeah.
and either a black denim jacket or like a light
Oh,
blue denim
Niall,
jacket.
do you remember that one time where I kept bringing around my denim jacket so we could twin?
Yeah, no, every single rehearsal, it was like you would call us twins or
And I'd
something because you just
follow
happened
you
to wear a
around.
denim jacket, or you'd purposely wear a denim jacket to
Yeah,
another
I
woman.
just,
Because it's my
Oh.
bloody thing.
I just follow you around going, Niall, no, look, we're matching, and everyone would just bully you. It was
The
great.
thing with Niall's denim jacket is you have this little inside pocket.
Yes,
Oh,
yes, I'm so
Every-
glad we're bringing this up. Yes.
Every single rehearsal, he would go to like KFC in town beforehand. He would get a drink and he would stuff it inside that pocket. Every single rehearsal without fail, he would walk up and you'd say hi to him and he'd just go, hey, look at this.
Like
and
he's
show
a
you the
fucking
cut.
drug
Because the first-
dealer.
I've spent my life trying to punch that pocket and get the drink to
The
burst.
first time I did it, I didn't even do it on purpose because I just was like, "Oh, this is an easy pocket to put it in," and I'd occasionally just throughout the rehearsal, just like James Bond or something, just like I'm wearing a trench coat, just whip the drink out and take a sip, and it was, and then like I think it was Jude found it insanely funny, so I just started doing it every
For
single
reference,
time,
Jude is
Yeah.
my
and it
brother.
started to really annoy people.
For reference,
Yeah.
that's my
Yes,
brother.
yeah.
I have a brother. I'm not an
Oh.
only child. Rip any of you who believe that.
Did they just die?
Oh,
Yeah.
the issue with
She said rip, I'm just a little
yeah,
Idiots,
confused.
why say rip there?
To me.
We need explanations.
When did I believe... okay.
I don't know. Just
Yeah.
cause. I'm not with it. The heat's really getting to
Anyway,
me.
yeah, I think these next few episodes are going to be so
I think it's
disjointed
getting to
because
us all. I'm an albino,
and it's not like we
so
can
I'm
have our
struggling.
windows open whilst recording either because you'll just hear like outside noise.
We're all suffering from heat exhaustion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot. I know
Are you-
you were saying beforehand that we have like overall like 30% foreign listeners,
Yeah.
and they're probably thinking it's
Yeah.
fine, but we're British.
Yeah.
This
We
is
don't deflect the
this is
sun as
horrible.
well. We
Yeah,
absorb
it
it.
was-
I
Yeah.
am so pale.
Like we've got a decent amount of Australian listeners, and so they'll be
Solid
listening to
3%,
this.
we'd say?
3% is solid enough, and temperature. So it's currently 25 degrees Celsius, which that in Fahrenheit is 77 Fahrenheit. So like people in Australia and America might be seeing that and being like, "Oh, that's fine. Like that's nothing. This is killing us.
Yeah.
Like we're not coping."
Like,
Yeah.
the other day, I literally just lay on a sofa and I just kind of didn't do anything. I was just that tired from heat.
Oh, I can confirm that only 0.33% of the world's population is Australians.
Oh,
Oh,
so
shit.
So hang on, does that mean that every
our
Australian
proportion of Australians is 10
does
times
that mean
that.
every Australian is listening to this podcast
Oh
then?
my gosh, hi!
Every single
Hi,
Australian in the
Australia.
world.
Yeah.
Hi, the entirety of Australia. I hope you're doing
You did
How you
well.
guys
alright on
doing?
Eurovision that one year.
Hey, that means Nick Kappa.
Even though you're not in
Yeah.
Europe.
That means Nick Kappa might be well if all of Australia listens to this, he will be listening to
If
this.
all of Australia is listening.
Get on the show,
Nick
man. We
Kappa's
want you here.
We love you, Nick Kappa.
big fans. I did go back. I've started listening to.
Bit
I've
far.
started listening to Little Dum Dum Club again, like since like we rediscovered or like discovered it through that, and it's a great
Yeah.
podcast. Like I recommend it 100%. They've got Russell Howard's on some episodes,
Is he?
which is crazy. Yeah,
Jeez. And now we've shouted them out, so if they're listening to this, they should probably shout us
yeah,
out.
100%.
That would only be the courteous thing
With
to
three
do.
Yes.
teenage Brits, help us.
Yeah, I was gonna say a minute ago. This is the
Yeah.
most British podcast ever. Just three of us complaining about the weather. It's
It is.
It's
We
so
even did an
good.
in-betweeners episode.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
just never
wasn't
got
there
released.
for
That
that.
got left in the
I
drafts, though.
wasn't there for that.
it was
That
it
will
was-
never be released.
it was good, but it wasn't great because I think we went into too much detail. For some reason, we decided to go through every episode one by one.
Oh,
Yeah.
God,
Which
you
was an
idiot.
We'll do
awful
we'll do
decision.
a tier list of the characters at some point.
Yeah, and that'll be up on
Just for
YouTube.
YouTube.
And I won't watch it, but I'll judge it on
Yeah.
how I think they look.
Just watch it at this point.
I'm gonna watch
like-
In-Betweeners' best bits, and that's how I'm gonna judge it.
No.
No, because that ruins all the
Yes.
jokes for when
Just
you
don't-
actually watch
I mean,
it.
the best bits are still very funny.
You
but
won't get
like,
the context.
There's no story.
like, Okay, I'll make a deal. If we reach enough followers on
Okay.
Insta, I'll watch it in its entirety.
Oh, you're really.
No, we're
I'm
not doing
reaching,
that.
I'm
We're not
reaching,
doing
I'm
that.
reaching. Because we desperately need followers, because
Our social media presence isn't massive.
it's not massive.
So
Yeah, our Instagram
at the
is
moment we have.
MTO, as in EMTEO, and then MTO.
So yes,
right?
I am being
Yeah,
a bit
so
of a
it's-
beg.
So
so
spelled
it's,
out, it's EMTEO.
I couldn't have made it more complicated if I tried, but
Yeah,
Niall,
you really.
You
really-
'Cause I
explain
didn't think-
things like a teacher who doesn't know how to teach.
thing is, I didn't read it out loud before making it that, but I can't get at MTO because it's some like guy whose name is like MTO who's just taken it
How
and hasn't been
dare
active
you?
in
be
like
fair,
a decade.
Whenever you search MTO on YouTube, it says, showing results for Meteo.
Yeah.
It's some, like, Bollywood song or
Who
something.
is
look-
Meteo?
Soon we will be the number one result.
One day.
Oh, maybe. I don't know about on YouTube.
Yeah, with an
On Spotify.
with the number
Apple
with the number
Music,
one
I'm
result on
sure,
Spotify
yeah,
and Apple Podcasts. Yeah. I'm trying to
Nice.
find Instagram.com at MTO to see who it is,
Right.
and we're going to send our hundreds of listeners over to bully this one guy.
Yeah.
No,
That's the plan.
no
it's,
witch
it's
hunting,
an
no witch
attack.
hunting.
look, even if I didn't want to, I've kind of already given away his app because it's just our podcast name.
Niall, stop doing this. Don't encourage the
It's
children.
probably a private account, right?
No, his last post was July 1st, 2018, and it's a picture of his daughter, so go and call the kid ugly.
Stop.
Oh,
No,
No,
I
stop.
don't mean
Niall,
that.
No,
They,
no.
That makes it so much
They
Niall,
do
worse.
have-
He's
they
a
do
family man, Niall.
well, all the photos are, like, of his daughters, or her. Why am I assuming it's a him?
Yeah, Niall. It's
Yeah.
But,
2020.
I think it is just like a 12-year-old girl, actually. I feel awful now.
Niall.
So it's not even a picture of the daughter, it's just
The daughter.
the daughter's account.
But do you want to hear something
what a bad
really weird?
person.
What?
They
No.
have one less
Didn't
post
tell
than
me
we
that.
do, and the exact same amount of followers.
Right, how many followers do we have?
34.
Fine, if we reach 50,
Okay,
if
but we haven't had
reach
that account for
50,
long.
I will watch In-Betweeners in full.
If
Yeah, so all of Australia, just go follow the account and then Dylan will watch
and
it.
if we reach 50, I reckon we can legally like stop that person from having the MTO at.
I don't think we can do that,
Sure,
but we
that's
can
how it
force me to watch In-Betweeners.
But we'll be podcast celebrities. We can do what we want.
Niall, Niall, I don't think you know how much 50 followers is in comparison to, like, I don't know, a
Well, they've
bigger
only got
podcast.
34. They've not been active since 2018. Surely there's like
Yeah, to be fair, get them off the site. Let's start a campaign.
Instagram should have a thing where like if you've not been active for
I
a
think
few
we should
years.
just start a smear
Yeah.
campaign against
No,
this poor
we should
12-year-old
not
girl.
do that.
But I think like once if you've been inactive on like Instagram or Twitter or any social media for more than like 2 years, you should be able to like
Yeah.
someone can take your at.
Yeah, I think
Like
they should
they
be able to
don't
take
they
the
don't
name.
delete your
Yeah.
account, but if they try and take the name, it just like automatically changes yours to like
And then
MTO 15 or whatever.
Guess.
or your user becomes user 12387.
Yeah.
And then you can just
Yeah.
change it back.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google how to take someone else's Instagram name.
Niall, we're not doing this.
You probably just have to pay.
Niall.
Do you reckon?
Niall,
The thing
stop.
is, I reckon.
Yeah, because like you have to pay for like names of web
I
pages,
reckon-
like if they're already
I
taken.
reckon if we DM them and ask, they seem nice enough, like, and they'd go like, "Oh
Niall,
yeah,
how do
I'm
you
not.
know
I've
that?
not used
Ask
Twitter.
them to
I
change
yeah,
their username.
but like just say,
Nah.
hey, we need it, and
Hi.
you've not been active.
Yeah,
because they
no,
have.
but they're gonna be like, okay, you have the same amount of followers as me. Why do you need it more?
Because we're more active. They've not.
'Cause
done-
we're
thing is,
British.
so what I was gonna say is,
Yeah, to
what I
be
was
fair,
gonna say is,
Royal
they've
Britannia-
not been active in
Britannia
2
all the
years,
ways.
so I reckon they might be able to look at it and go, "Oh, yeah, I'm not using Instagram anymore. I'm not using this account. Who gives a
Yeah, but
shit?"
if they're not using
But at the
it,
same
they're gonna
time,
see
yeah, I
it,
was gonna
yeah.
say that if we message them,
How does that work though? Because like if we stole their username, it just doesn't work because like just keep the brand, man. MTO, you know.
MTO,
okay, yeah, but it's
that's our
complicated to
thing.
read out.
EMTEO, MTO.
Yeah.
There you
Will
go.
Instagram delete inactive accounts? This is from
I
Tech
don't
Junkie.
think they will.
Yes, they will delete inactive accounts, although the time it takes them to do so varies depending on the website's needs. For example, purges usually happen at random, or at least they seem random. Often these purges occur at the end of the year, so look. January
They might not be
21.
Are you
inactive though.
trying
They
to
might not be
purge
inactive
a
because they might still just
12-year-old
use that
girl's
account to like.
Niall.
No, they'll probably use that account to actually like go on Instagram and look at other people's posts and
Yeah.
whatnot. They probably just don't post
No.
themselves.
They've not been tagged in anything.
Niall,
And,
think
um,
about this in the grand scheme
Oh,
of
actually,
things.
if they haven't been tagged in all that scam posts, they
Niall, think
probably
about
are
this in the
active,
grand
to be
scheme
fair.
of things. You, a 50-year-old boy, plan to try
A
to get...
50-year-old
A 50-year-old
boy.
I said
boy.
15.
A 50-year-old boy.
It sounded like you
You
said
did
50.
not say 15. You
I'm
did not
thinking
say
of nonsense.
15.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you were just thinking.
You, a 15-year-old boy, are trying to get a 12-year-old girl's account username removed
Yes.
so you can have it.
Rightfully so.
It's
Guys, I've got a new game. I've got a new game segment for this podcast episode. It's called Guess What Gideon is Doing Right at This Moment in
Are
Time.
you drinking water?
Incorrect.
Are you dabbing?
Obviously not, 'cause I'm speaking. Incorrect. It's quite obscure. I'm not
Are
gonna
you
lie
stroking your Guy Fieri picture?
to you. No, I'm actually not. I don't know why.
Big up Guy Fieri.
No, you're gonna have a guess.
Nah, I think I'll pass.
Okay, answer is she's playing with my belly button.
Oh,
Okay, I
why
wanna-
are you doing that whilst talking to
Gideon.
us?
I feel like I'm having a mental breakdown.
What is the issue with that? What?
There's a problem with that.
very weird. It's very weird.
like, there's multiple things wrong with everything that's just happened and what we've discussed and just done. I'm having a mental breakdown,
Yeah.
not gonna lie.
I think me and you two have very different concepts of what's weird.
Yeah, yours are significantly worse.
I
Is it-
think
In school like productions and in my GCSE scripted, I had to be topless on stage a lot, and that was just yeah.
Like-
I'm just gonna go and grab a laptop charger. Just talk amongst yourselves for a
Okay.
second.
so.
How do we talk amongst ourselves?
Okay.
What do we do?
Gideon, what do you want to talk about?
Poop,
Ah.
probably.
Funny, big meme.
Okay, what can we talk about
I
concerning
just want to say
poop?
I don't have my headphones on, but
Uh,
I assume that
oh,
Gideon's
he's back.
talking
He's
about
back.
He's back.
Niall, we really need you to help
Help.
us. Please, can you give us a different conversation
We have no
topic?
idea what to
We
talk
decided on poop,
Right,
but we
I'm
don't
just
think it's
down
probably
by
the
the
best thing.
plug.
Oh, what about Guy Fieri? Guy
No,
Fieri.
damn it,
Guy
damn it.
Fieri.
Damn it, he's not got his head. He's not got his headphones
go-
on.
go-
I'm
Fieri,
guessing he's
go
talking about
Fieri.
poop.
I really like Guy
Guy
Fieri.
Fieri's a very nice man. I like his
I'm
hair.
going French. Personnellement, j'adore Guy Fieri.
J'aime Guy Fieri.
Oui,
Oui.
oui.
Right, I'm bringing the cord around
Niall,
the
Niall,
laptop,
please.
but I've still not got my
Niall.
headphones on,
Niall.
but I can hear a lot of yelling, so...
I'm Guy Fieri and we're rolling out. We're rolling out looking for
Oh,
America's greatest
right.
diners, drive-ins, and
His
dives.
show was
Struggling to
so
breathe.
good. I loved that show.
It is, to be fair. It is a
I
banger.
love Guy Fieri.
And
He's
the
just
headphones
a
are back on.
Thank God.
Yes. Okay, he's back. Now,
Um,
please give us a new topic of conversation. We've gone from poo to Guy
Fieri.
Fieri.
I got a new bed the other day. Let's
Oh,
talk
I
about
don't
that.
care. That's even more boring.
Can we go back to Guy
Like-
Fieri?
No, just quickly, like, when was the last time either? This is so fucking dumb. When was the last time either of you got like a new bed or something, or like completely redid your room or something?
So I think this bed that I've got now, I got maybe 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only been living in this house for, I think maybe 5 years now.
Fairs.
I've never moved house. Have either of
never
you?
moved
Have you not?
house?
I've only ever moved one. I've only ever moved
I
once.
moved when I was very little, like 4 years old.
My family moved into my old house right before, like, quite shortly
Yeah.
before I was born.
Yeah. I've lived in the same house for all my life, but going back to the bed, getting a new bed and sleeping on it for the first time, it's the best. Like,
it hits
To be fair,
different.
yeah, I put my bed in the wash today, and I flipped my mattress,
Yeah.
and it's just so much comfier because I've worn down the other side.
even that, like when you like put new bed sheets on, like that's something that happens like once every week, once every 2 weeks. But even
Yeah,
that, like
It's
the
so
first night you do
satisfying.
that,
Smell everything.
like having a bed that doesn't smell like absolute ass, it's such a good feeling.
Yeah, and like I cleared out my wardrobe and tidied it all the other week.
Good
and
job,
that is
Gideon.
just so satisfying.
Good
to
job.
Me. I ended up with 4 massive bags of old clothes that are going to go to charity shops once this is
Aw.
over, because I literally just had stockpiled old clothes and never.
Oh,
got rid of them.
I can relate. I have a lot of the stuff I used to wear, and now I'm just like, why do I still own this?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what the reason I bring it up is because my old bed was a double bed. This new bed is a single bed.
I'm in a single.
I honestly
Mine's a
thought you were
single.
trying to sell us your bed for a second.
Does anyone want?
Yeah.
a
Does
double bed?
anyone want to? I have no place where to put this thing.
It doesn't come with a mattress because my new bed didn't come with a mattress, so we cut my old mattress in half.
Serious?
Yeah, I mean,
Idiot.
we're 100% serious.
Oh, no, I have like I think it's a king. But current-
Really?
You have
You
a
have a
king bed?
king-size bed?
Are you
Are you
I can't remember what
taking the
I can't remember
piss?
what it's called. I can't. It's a big bed though. It's a big bed because
I thought...
Jeez, man. I just have my
move a
single.
lot in
I
my
really like
sleep.
mine though. To be
I
fair.
move a lot in my sleep.
'Cause I just have a single in the corner of the room. So I mean, there's only actually one side I can fall out of, and then I have like a nice leather headboard.
Yeah.
But
Dylan, for some reason, I thought you slept on a bunk bed, and I don't
Oh no
know
no no! I
why.
do.
no, it's because in the
currently-
background there's always a
I
bunk
do
bed.
currently
Yeah.
because my sister has moved back for quarantine purposes. So I'm stuck in my
Yeah,
old bunk
yeah.
bed. So now I have a tendency to move my sleep a lot, so I just keep hitting like the bunk bed walls and hurting myself.
I'm
Yeah.
exactly the same.
Both my sisters are back from uni, and tensions
Oh, we
rise
do.
over
It
time.
happens all the time though. I think this is an unspoken thing about quarantine, which really needs to be discussed more. Is emotionally, everyone is just getting snappy and like
It's
frustrated.
so draining.
you know everyone's
It's
drained
so
and everything.
draining.
I think it's just not spoken about enough currently.
And because, like,
I just want to see my friends.
yeah, and like family arguments, like it's like an unspoken thing, but they do happen.
They happen.
And then
Every
being
household
locked
has them. If
in
you
with
don't,
your,
you're lying.
there is no such thing as a
Yeah.
perfect family. But then being locked
If you
in
don't,
with your family and not being
Get very
able
lucky.
to leave and get any sort of like private time, it's stressful. Like
Yeah.
doing this podcast and like having to like go around my house and going in every room being like, guys, can you try and be quiet because I'm recording in a few minutes. Like it gives me anxiety because I don't know if they're gonna go like, well, it's not your fucking house, so shut up. Like, and because
Yeah,
my parents
I
are
get what
nice,
you
like they're not
mean.
gonna do that. But like I get that sort of anxiety, you know.
No, I think it's unspoken of is the emotional impact quarantine has really had on people. Like
Yeah.
honestly,
and I feel like there's going to be some
drains.
families that, like, after quarantine, I might go around to one of my mates' houses and, like, over quarantine, that their family would have got really annoyed at each other. It's going to be, you know, when you go to your mate's house and, like, they have an argument with your parents.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm worried that it might just be on
And you
another
you're just
level.
sort of staring at the wall like, oh, that's a nice.
that's a
Whoa.
nice
Just sort
lamp.
of nice food.
Nice lamp. I really like this
Yeah.
bookshelf.
Thanks.
Did
The
you?
interior design here is really expertly
It
done.
just just makes me think of the Caravan Club episode of The In-Betweeners with Jay standing in the toilet and they're all just confident in the crisps and the ketchup.
No, I wouldn't
As if
get
she
this
made them.
reference.
It's very
Yes,
good.
because you haven't watched it, you probably should.
Yeah,
Um,
I think definitely emotionally people are struggling, and I think it's a good cry for talk to people. Please phone your friends. Please get help if you
Yeah.
need it. You are not alone. We're all in this together.
It's nice. It's nice being able to do this.
Yeah.
this
To like
podcast as well.
express the struggle
Yeah.
and be relatable, so people know they're not alone. Being alone.
And because it's also like, we
Yeah.
don't take this podcast too seriously, like it's a comedy thing, so being able to have like 30 minutes to an hour where we just sit down
But
and
it
make
attempts-
jokes, it's great.
It attempts to be.
Yeah,
Yeah, it attempts.
yeah.
We're not that funny. Don't big yourself up that much now.
We need to be confident with this. We need to come out all guns blazing and say, look, we're the funniest people around, this is
We're
why you should be
so
listening to
funny.
us.
We did get a couple of totally legit 5-star reviews. To be fair,
100%, Mamma Mia, I like this podcast more than spaghetti.
This is definitely not
do you
Noel
even have any
Edwards.
Italian listeners?
I don't think we do.
Oh shit, this is a shame.
Genuinely, my favourite thing with the podcast recently has just been like making those like completely fake but quite funny reviews. Like,
To be fair, I can imagine you just sat in your room
Oh.
typing them up, laughing
it's
at
a
it.
lot of me like it usually happens for some reason when I'm playing the drums and I just sort of sit there and go, that'd be funny. So like the one where it was like, hello
Yeah.
MTO, I love you guys, I found your podcast very funny and I was laughing so much I ran over my kids, the wife gets home soon,
Right.
what do I do?
Right.
That
Just on this note as well, if people are listening, it does really help if you review it.
yeah,
Also,
genuinely 100%.
If you make a funny review and you send it to us, we will shout you out.
we will post it
we
on the
find them
Instagram
funny.
probably.
We like funny
It will probably get
jokes.
posted
We're
on our
funny
Instagram, to be
people.
fair, which you should
We're
follow.
trying to take life less seriously in this time of crisis.
Yeah. But how often have you guys been going on walks, if at all?
I can't.
Yeah, to be fair, you
I
can't.
can't.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
in
in a
a
tough situation
situation where
with people in
people
your
that I'm
household,
quarantining with are at high risk, and if they got it, would probably die. So
I go out quite a lot. Oh, carry on,
I-
Dylan. You were saying
it's
something
it's
quite
okay.
serious.
I'm quite serious. I think out of all of you, I'm the most serious one when it comes to issues. Because everyone
Yeah.
comes to me when they have problems. Because I'm great. No, it's just because I give good advice.
Okay, let's
It's 'cause I
move.
give
This
advice.
is not a joke podcast.
Currently I've just been in my garden getting my outside time. Because, you know,
Yeah.
it's still good
And-
to get that vitamin D.
Yeah, I can go in my garden whenever, and then I've been going out. Like I just went out with my family yesterday. Went on a little walk, like a walk around some lakes down in Earlswood. You might have to blur that, but not
Did
really.
you
It's
go
like a 20-minute
birds
drive.
watching?
But no, no one in my family does that.
God
But yeah,
damn
we
it.
just go on like walks around the block and whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes as well, like a couple of times a week. I mean, to be fair, like my mum and one of my sisters usually go like pretty much every day, and then I'll go like 3 times a week.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
I've been going like 4 or 5 times a week, I reckon, and just been going down like the back of the fields and getting lost at a
Right.
lake and stuff like that
But-
with my dog, because the dog needs
Yeah.
It's
exercise.
nice to get out, to be fair.
But
And
you
also
know,
like it's as close as I'm getting to alone time at the moment, because like being stuck in the house and like not really having any time to myself where I'm just sort of home alone and get to do whatever. Like being able to just go out on a walk,
Yeah.
just me and the
No, I
dog,
agree.
in like a
That's the
massive
thing.
field
Like,
where
when I'm at
there's no one
school,
else.
obviously I get the bus home, and I'm home before my parents are home. My sisters are both at uni, and I've just sort of had the house to myself. Like
Yeah.
now, I just have to by myself
Yeah.
in my room.
Yeah, I used to have the house to myself, and now I've got my very small room to
I
myself.
don't even have a room to myself
Yeah.
currently.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have no freedom. Like, honestly.
But when you're not in quarantine, you do have a king size
But
bed.
it's a flex, though. But
I think out of the 3 of us, quarantine, like, and I don't want to like, we can edit this out if you want.
Yeah.
But quarantine has definitely like affected you the most out of the 3 of us. From
Oh,
what it looks of it.
entirely.
Yeah.
My world's been flipped upside down. You know. You
Now,
go from
this
6
is a story
people-
all about how.
All about how.
I think quarantine has definitely impacted me the worst because I'm a very introverted person, as you guys may know. I don't do
Yeah.
well in social situations.
Which is why doing a podcast is a very bad idea.
It's a very bad idea for someone like me, but you know, I'm just here for the fun of it. But I think
It's alright, because it's just me and Noah that you're doing it.
I'm
Yeah.
comfortable with people I know, but when I don't know people is when I go into shutdown autopilot mode.
And
And
that
I
episode
think-
with the Queen of
Yeah.
England that we've got planned is going to
I
be an
think that's a
interesting
big
one
thing
then.
just with our generation, like, generally as
It's 'cause
well.
we have such a bad
Yeah.
Doing
rep.
the whole fine thing. Have you seen the film 8th Grade, which was one that
Oh
Bo
yeah,
Burnham
yeah.
directed?
I like
No, I
that one.
haven't.
It's a good film.
That, I think that sort of sums up our generation.
Yeah.
Like, we are more socially awkward, but that's because, you know, we have phones. He says in Make Happy that social media is basically just the market's answer to a
Yes.
Social media is just the market's answer to a generation that demanded expression and performance. They said, here, express everything to each other all the time for no reason. And it's a prison, and it's self-imposed, and it's horrifying. We don't know what it's doing to us.
It's so deep, you know.
But social media has ruined our generation.
It
Like, constantly
has.
be looking at other people who are
100%.
better than you or have better lives than you or things like
It-
that. And they
it does
don't.
destroy
But
it.
it's just a
You know,
facade for social media. But
It's like-
when you're seeing that all the time, this is a comedy podcast.
Yeah.
But when you're
Like,
seeing that
yeah,
all the
I think it's-
time,
I think it's good
This.
to have a deep talk sometimes, so people realise
Yeah.
we're.
Can we talk about
No,
poo
it's-
again? I feel
I
more
feel like
comfortable
it's
doing
good to
that.
do this though, because
I
it makes
don't.
people realise that behind all the laughs and jokes, we are real people. You know,
I'm
we're not just comedians. We are people.
I
that have...
don't think I am.
Well,
Dylan, we're
maybe
not
you're
even
not.
I
comedians.
genuinely don't
Gideon
think
is
I'm a human
actually an
being.
alien that doesn't.
I don't think I'm a
exist.
human.
Um,
I genuinely don't.
But I think it's good to have these talks because I think definitely in a time like this, we need to make the message clear that emotionally and mentally, it is okay to struggle. It is okay to feel drained. It is okay to feel
Yeah.
low. You need
like,
to talk
preach
though, or you're
it.
going to get
Preach.
yourself into a hole and you're going to harm yourself.
yeah.
You know? You may not be the best person,
Also-
but you do deserve a place on this earth.
While we're on the topic of talking about deep stuff, do we want to talk about the whole George Floyd
I
thing or not?
think it
We can.
needs to be spoken about. It
Because-
is honestly
Yeah,
a huge.
'Cause
I think the
Should-
way I
be-
see
be-
it
but just
is,
quickly,
I saw a
before-
quote
before-
the other day.
Before we
Okay,
talk
yeah,
about
you
this,
carry
I do
on.
want to say, I did say, I think on the last episode, that we have no reason to get political on this podcast, but I think this situation goes further than politics, and
need
it's
to
something that
get
does need to be talked about.
political.
So before anyone, like, yells at us for saying, oh, you said no politics last time, but no, you're getting into politics, first of all, shut up. Don't
Isn't
use my words against me,
politics.
because I don't even remember half the things I say. Second of all, this
I
needs
remember
to be
last
talked
episode
about.
you asked how to use
This
anal
isn't
beating.
politics, though.
Yeah,
This
it was
is human
involuntary.
right. This is human rights, and this is humans'
Yeah.
ability to live.
I think the way I see it, I'm not gonna lie, I have quite a pessimistic outlook. I saw a quote the other day that was, justice is never going to be served when, you know, the oppressors don't feel the oppression as much as the oppressed.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, I feel like I have quite a pessimistic outlook, I'm not gonna lie, because every time something like this happens, I feel like people are very, well, white people especially, are very up in arms about it. And then, because it realistically, it does not affect us
Yeah.
anywhere near as much. We sort of let it fizzle out and then go back to old ways, and then it happens again. It's just this cycle. And I feel like this time has been a bit different with the George Floyd situation. I think
It's
it
Well,
has.
this time, if you
And I hope that it can bring like lasting change.
I hope it
But
does.
I'm just worried
And
it's
if-
going to do the same thing again, where we settle back into
Just
being
ignoring it
comfortable
again.
because we're not being oppressed.
And if you
Because
look
it
at-
was recorded. That's
Yeah.
the sad thing
Yeah.
is, the only reason this got brought to light was because we had proof it happened.
And it,
Well, there's
it
a
does show
quote-
that social media can sometimes be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But there's a quote from Will Smith that I saw literally earlier today that said racism isn't getting worse, it's only getting recorded.
That is the
And
truth.
that's like, yeah. And
Just
like I think because
Oh.
if you look at the videos of like Minneapolis at the moment, there are full on riots going on there,
yeah.
and there's this big like war against the police.
Yeah, and that
And I can't help but feel that if we
you know,
weren't
in my
sorry, go on.
no, you go on. Go
I
on.
can't help but feel like if we weren't in lockdown, it'd be happening 1,000 times more seriously than this,
Yeah.
and there'd be even bigger riots
100%.
because a lot of people don't want to go out and get involved in this stuff in case they catch COVID.
Think
Yeah,
about this.
What I was gonna
So-
say.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say was in my like playlist for the podcast, my last song was Mortal Man by Kendrick, which has the interview with Tupac, and in it, one of the questions was to do with like racism in America, and Tupac literally said that next time something big happens, it's gonna be like bloodshed, and it's gonna like reach a whole nother level.
Shit's gonna
I feel
boil
like
over
that's
here.
What's
It
happening this
is,
time?
because the sad truth is, at the end of the day, if nobody had recorded that George Floyd, would we have known about it? Probably not. And that's the horrible
because
truth.
there's so many more stories coming out now with the his life matter too, their life matter too.
Yeah.
Matters too movement. There's so many other cases.
So many
that don't get talked
people.
about. And everyone is equally like as tragic and as terrible.
And if that happens on camera and like this is the outcry over it, think about like what happens off camera. Think about if that was never
Those
filmed.
who've been
That officer wouldn't have been
silenced
fired.
because
Things
of
like
the
that.
colour of their skin.
That's the thing as well. It's good that he's been arrested and charged. But if you've seen like the profiles that people have made of the cop, he's done stuff like this before.
Yeah, and it didn't happen.
You know,
he should not have
nothing
been in his
happened.
job. But this time, because it was recorded, yes, he's been charged. But there's a load of other cops.
You know.
And think about how many other times that happens in a month, a week, even a day, and it's not filmed, and those cops aren't served justice, and they're still cops, and they're still going on to do the same thing over and over again, and it's not being recorded.
Racism.
It's fucked.
Racism doesn't stop when it's not recorded. If anything, it gets worse. Think about it. We're in quarantine right now, and this has still happened. What if we weren't in quarantine?
Think that he did that when he was very aware that he was being recorded. Think about how far he would have taken it if he wasn't being recorded.
There's literally the photo is him looking at the camera.
Yeah.
And like there's obviously things about I think people say it was accidental. He didn't do it because he was black. Like so many.
Fucking how
There's
would that be
enough
accidental?
proof
Such
that,
worse things and been calmly arrested. And he was selling like count or forged.
It was like
checks.
they thought it was a forged check. They didn't even know for definite. I don't think.
Yeah. Also,
and there was 4 kneeling on him.
Death. You know.
Yeah.
You have to be stupid if you can't realise what's fucked up about this.
But whenever there's like a school shooting and someone kills like 100 kids,
they get to
they get a fair trial.
Arrested.
I think if anyone's neutral on this situation, they're stupid.
You need to fight.
Maybe without realising it, they have a sense of racism.
And I think if anyone's against like the message of Black Lives Matter or like all the big
All Lives Matter movement. Oh my days, I hate that so
All Lives Matter is bullshit. Okay, I'm sorry, but if 5 houses are if 5 houses exist and 1 house is burning, you're not going to put water on all of them, are you? You're going to prioritise the house that is burning. And you're going to get that fire put out before going, well, all houses matter, so I'm just going to let that person die.
I think as well, there's one, J. Cole back in, like, 2014 went on, Letterman, right? And he performed a song called B3, which was never released as a single. It's not on audio platforms or anything. It's just on YouTube, the performance, on Letterman. And that was back in 2014, and the message was very similar to what people are saying about this situation, and the fact that it still rings exactly the same like truth today shows that there hasn't really been any progression.
You know.
But I would say if this is for you two as well as people listening, go and watch that performance. J. Cole B3 on Letterman. Like go listen to that, watch that.
Yeah, I'll check that out. Another thing I saw was like, do you know Steven Crowder?
Refresh my memory.
There is not a man I hate more on the planet more than Steven Crowder. He's the guy who does like the change my mind things.
Oh, okay.
Where he goes to like the college campuses and he's like, like white privilege is a myth, change my mind.
It's not.
Do you even hate him more than Katie Hopkins?
Oh, yes, 100%.
White privilege is the ability knowing you're going to get a job and not be judged on the colour of your skin. White privilege is knowing you're not going to be killed when you're arrested. That's what white privilege is.
It's insane that someone can say it doesn't exist, and as 3 white people, we're maybe not the right people to be talking about this.
But we're aware of it. I'm
aware
that
we
I
have
will
to
have a
spread that
better
message.
chance.
We're white people living in a very rich area, realistically, compared to most places in the world.
We've got this, like, sort of, as a society, we've got people who just deny that it exists, and the problem isn't going to go away by pretending it's not there. Like if you go back to the thing you said about the house being on fire, if the house was on fire and you shut your eyes and go la 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 la, it's not there. It's still gonna burn down.
Like if you do the meme of the girl facing at the camera while there's a building burning,
it's still gonna burn.
If you're that girl, I don't know why I've managed to bring a meme into this, but if you're that girl,
you're not helping. You're part of the problem. Ignorance is what causes more of this to happen.
There's a great documentary that I recommend watching. It's on Netflix, and this is a documentary that I've watched over and over again. The first time I watched it was with a mate of mine, Flynn. Shout out to Flynn. He doesn't listen to this, so fuck you, Flynn.
Fuck
But
you,
basically, Gideon, do you want to say it?
No.
Okay.
I think Flynn seems like a lovely guy.
He's not. Nah, he's alright, I'm joking.
I don't know who
Mate.
Flynn is, so sorry,
Um,
Flynn, but fuck you.
Yeah, he's
Flynn is a pretty stupid name. I can't say it. I'm called Gideon.
he's fine.
Yeah, this is coming from
but-
Gideon Narlin
What? Yeah, what great names. What was I saying? Yeah, so there's a documentary on Netflix by a guy called Daryl Davis. I can't actually remember what it's called.
Oh, is he the guy who talks to the people in the KKK?
Yeah, he's
Oh,
I saw him on Russell
shit.
Howard. I saw him on
yes,
Russell
that's
Howard,
him. He's the black guy, and he goes around talking to members of the KKK, and like not directly, but basically converting them away
Yeah.
from being members of the KKK. And like he went to the rallies, and he was like, people were calling him the first black member of the KKK, which he claims he isn't, because like if there's a black member of the KKK, it's not KKK. So he wasn't there to like be part of the rallies. He was just there to get into the mindset and see if he could like convince them to stop doing this dumb shit. And like it's a great documentary, and it's riveting, and it's
Yeah.
such a good watch, and I'd recommend anyone who like has any sort of like doubt on this subject or anything.
If you have
Yeah.
Netflix,
There's,
Yeah.
there's so many problems going on as of late because, like, oppression is getting worse because people are trying to ignore the fact people are being oppressed.
Yeah.
I mean, Donald Trump being in power has amplified
It's
it. like,
made it
1,000
worse.
fold.
Yeah.
Because have you heard of Prideful?
Oh, I saw you post something on your
Right.
story about
It's not
Yeah,
as big
yeah.
a deal as the George Floyd situation. It cannot be compared to that. But as you may know, Pride Month is coming up. Literally in like a
Yeah.
few days, depending on when you're watching this. And I am a lesbian, for those of you who don't know. So I
Whoa.
believe a lot about...
We're an inclusive podcast.
Woo, we have a woman who
Yes.
is gay. We are diverse.
We may as well just be
I am the token.
late
I am
with
the
Lily
token,
Singh.
essentially. But anyways, Prideful, as many of you may know, is something formed by 4chan, which is a group that are very homophobic,
Of course, it's
transphobic.
fucking 4chan.
Of course it is, you know.
Yeah.
But somebody found this leaked announcement that they were going to do an attack on LGBT people during Pride Month on social media.
Wasn't it literally people with
They
like
were
pride flags in their
Yes,
bio?
they were going to
Yeah.
dox people, send them harmful content that could be potentially triggering, and just
And
send
he-
hate. And
Wasn't they like
Us-
sending suicide videos
yes,
as well and stuff like that?
literally, they were going to send brutality, things I don't really want to mention, but you can, if you
Yeah.
know what dark is, you know what I'm talking about. And as a gay
Anything
person,
you can imagine
I'm
that wouldn't-
horrified. Because imagine
yeah.
just
Yeah,
wanting
I mean, as a straight person,
just
I'm also
wanting
gay.
to
'Cause
just
it's-
celebrate my month. I'm not scared for myself because I privated my account. If anyone wants to follow me,
which is a
if
smart thing
anyone
to
wants
do,
to
you should
follow
do
me,
that.
you can't until Pride Month's over. I'm sorry, but I'm trying to keep myself safe.
That's
And,
But
and
the
like
thing-
because like just quickly they're targeting allies as well, and obviously because all of us have said on this podcast that we're in support of like all of
It
this,
puts you
I
at
am
risk.
going to take out all of our usernames and Instagram stuff from all of the descriptions of previous
It
episodes,
puts us
just
at
because
risk.
we don't want it to spread to us or people who follow us
Mine
or
aren't in
people who
there
talk
anyway.
to us,
But
and like
the,
yeah,
the thing I'm most worried about is that I'm fine. People I know about me, I've told them to private their stuff, keep themselves safe, to enjoy Pride Month without having to worry about it. But I'm worried about younger children that use social media that are confident in who they are or think they like are confident in who they are.
I.e. the
And I'm worried
12-year-old
they're
girl
go-
who Niall was playing to witch hunt.
No, you
Think
can't say
about
that.
it.
No.
I'm horrified that a 12-year-old girl is going to be sent something horrifying and it's going to
Yeah,
be traumatized for her life. You know, I just don't
Because
understand.
she just
I
yeah.
don't understand how people can be so hateful and so
What-
attackful
Yeah.
against somebody who is literally just trying to live their life.
What
Which is
fucking
why
thought process
racism
do
and
you have to
homophobia
have?
makes no sense in this current generation. Because it's 20. If you can't accept somebody next to you isn't going to be the same as you, you shouldn't get your place in this society. As harsh as that is, that's reality.
It's yeah, I agree. I think like.
You
Yeah, no, I don't know if they even
Fake
deserve
Niall.
a place in society because I feel like
Yeah, to be fair,
I-
it's not really our place to speak.
not our place.
and I
to
feel
speak.
like I don't want to
I don't want to seem
I don't want to seem
preachy.
preachy, but it is the fact that I am horrified that some small children are going to be sent hateful content. So if you are LGBT or you support it and you've made it actively known that you do, please just for June private your account. Make sure that you only allow people that you know. Do not allow anyone with the digits 1488 or 88 follow you or comment. If you're tagged in something, untag yourself no matter what it is. Do not open any DMs. Keep yourself safe. Enjoy your Pride Month and be gay, be trans, be yourself. Eat Skittles. I don't know. Just be safe.
Okay, well that one.
and fuck 4chan.
Right, don't.
Yeah, and then you said
Skittles.
But
You know,
that,
you know the Skittles they do, the white ones. You know they take the rainbow out for Pride Month. They do the white Skittles. That's what they're doing. I love those.
What?
Yeah,
Wait,
I've never
hang
seen
on,
that.
hang on. Why are they taking the rainbow out?
No, Skittles.
For Pride
Skittles
Month?
for
No,
Pride
they're-
Month. They give away their rainbow because they think the rainbow deserves to go to the, they want to give the attention to the rainbow.
Oh,
so
that's
Skittles
sick.
are always white.
Can I just say as
Pride
well?
Month.
I mean, the blue. You can get the blue, red, and white Skittles.
For America, isn't it? Or is
They
it
are.
Britain?
I think I got some from France
I
once.
think it's
as
whoever
well. I
has
think I
that
got them
colour
from
in their
Britain
flag.
and France.
But yeah, this
Right.
podcast got deep, hella deep.
Yeah. So this is going to be a bit of a change in tone, but let's get into our segment, Scary, where we talk about some spooky stories. We don't want this podcast to get too dark, so look, let's just have some laughs now and end it off on a happy note. Here's that theme tune that I made. It's such a good feeling.
Hella deep. Hella deep. Hella deep. Hella deep.
Niall is never not wearing triple denim. I really enjoyed that.
I think I'm going to change it up a bit every episode, so I'll have like the same beat and the same ending, but I'll put in different quotes. Which, trying to find some quotes from this episode to put in there might be a bit difficult, but
Yeah. We
Yeah,
I
you
think
probably
it
shouldn't.
needed to be said though.
But there's plenty
I'm
from
glad.
previous.
we said some
episodes.
funny stuff at the start of this episode
yeah.
as well.
Did we? Oh yeah, we did. a
I'm
bit.
just glad we had this talk because
Yeah.
I'm glad
Yeah.
we sat down on our virtual table and talked about it.
If you enjoyed funny, haha, MTO more.
Watch
next
the
episode's
song
probably
review
better.
one. That one's pretty funny.
Yeah, and it's got our most
Yeah.
It
views.
has
In fact,
pirate
no,
song.
Yeah.
don't watch that because it's got our most views. Watch our least,
Yeah.
listen to our least viewed episode, which I will find in a minute. This is going to be a depressing thing
No,
to
'cause
hear.
it'll be the one that was just spooky
what about
stories, which
what
is a
about
bit
you
dead.
watch Pain Game? That one's a pretty good one.
Oh,
That's
Pain
yeah,
Game is good. Yeah.
Say Pain Game. That was a solid.
And
episode.
Dylan's not. Oh no, Dylan is in that one. It's the
I'm
the
always
perfect day
in
that you're
the
not
early
in.
ones. It's just I had a Wi-Fi
Yeah.
break for like a good few weeks.
But we fixed it. We fixed it. We're
We
all good.
fixed it.
We did.
And
Let's do it.
and
That's
the
right.
Pain Game is actually one of the least listened to ones, and it was a great
Pain
episode.
Game.
So
Wow.
that's a good one. Right. Scary. Let's do this.
I did. The stories.
People who don't know what this segment is, there's three of us. We have three spooky or scary stories. Two of them are real, one of them are made up. This time it was Dylan's turn to collect the stories. So Dylan, who do you want to read first? I nailed that
Okay.
explanation.
That was
I nailed
beautifully
that.
done.
Okay.
Did you mention that we have to guess which one is fake?
No, but we have to guess which one is
What is
fake.
fake? Before we start,
You'll get it
before we
next
start,
time.
I must shout out my friend Brianna who helped me find these on short notice because I was panicking. I was like, I haven't found any. The podcast starts in 20 minutes. So thank you,
Okay,
Brianna.
well, I'm a shout out. Jesus.
Hang on. Does Brianna listen to the
She
podcast?
does. She's
Okay,
worthy.
fuck
of
you,
our
Brianna.
love. No. Brianna is
no.
lovely.
Shout out. I'm sorry if you're listening to this and I
We
just
love
I feel
Brianna.
bad.
I'm sorry that you've been mentioned on such a serious episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Imagine if we had a guest on for this episode.
Oh.
Because
That would've
I
been
was
so
trying to sort
awkward.
out a guest yesterday, but I just got too tired and fell asleep.
That was-
So
Don't worry, I've got a great idea for a guest that we can have at some point.
tell us now and I'll
Jesus.
edit it out if it's a big spoiler reveal.
No, it's good. So
No.
good.
If this is some sort of character you've created,
No, it's not. Believe me.
like if this is just you doing a silly.
You'll know when you know. You'll You'll know when
What do
you
you
know.
mean? Well, I need to
That
I need to
really
invite them
does
to the
not
group
help.
chat to add them to the episode.
Right,
So if
no,
you don't
no.
tell me, they're not going to
You'll-
be.
We're not just gonna suss it out.
You'll know if we know. You'll know. You'll know.
I don't
Okay, I'm
know.
gonna assume that means you're gonna tell us at some point soon.
If we reach 100 followers.
Oh,
Just
for
kidding.
No, my days.
No,
Right,
no,
no,
just
message
kidding.
message to
Just
the
kidding.
chat now. Message to the chat now because this is annoying me and I want to know who you've
Yeah, we're gonna
prepared
give-
to be on
Message
this.
the chat and we'll give live reactions.
But we won't say the name.
Okay, these will be good reactions.
They will, don't
If,
worry.
is this a serious guest or is
Oh
this some
my
shit?
days!
Oh yeah, we already knew that.
That's
we,
crazy.
Yeah, you already
yeah.
knew that.
We
so...
already knew that. We literally.
See,
knew.
see,
Right.
I told
We
you.
do have
know
a
when
couple
you
of
know.
others planned as well, but
Yeah, we have
yeah.
this plan. It's gonna be great. It's all gonna be good. Right. So, anyways,
Yeah.
who wants to read first?
Let's actually do our
Dylan,
scary.
you decide
Dylan,
who-
you get to decide.
Right,
Um,
'cause
you
did
know
the
what?
stories.
Right.
Because I
Who's your
Sure,
favourite
what-
of the group?
I am the favorite of the group.
No, you don't have to make this.
I am
Yes,
the
we-
favorite of the group because I am the minorities.
Okay, you get to read
I'm
first
the
then.
minorities. That's why.
Yeah.
This one,
Are you reading
yes,
first then?
I purposely given myself the shortest one.
And
Aha.
I'm just gonna mute your mic because I don't
course
care
you
to hear
are.
what you're about to say.
No,
No, I'm joking. I'm
Okay.
joking.
This one is called The Office because I like
Da
Office.
da
Yeah.
da da da
If you
da
come up with these
da,
names,
da,
by the way,
da,
if you come
da,
up with
da,
a
da,
name.
da.
Right, you ready?
If this is just a character
Did you
named
come up
Jim,
with the
I
names?
did come
I'm
up. I
guessing
did
you
come up
did.
with all these names. Also, I had to
Yeah.
rewrite all of them. So if the grammar's a bit off, I apologize. That's on me.
Okay.
now
In-
Dylan, is this going to be a reference to the British office or the US office?
Oh, I feel like it's US. US small.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
So it's Jim
In
and
our
not Tim.
old office. Yeah, it's not Tim.
What
Fuck,
thing?
fuck Tim. Jim's where it's at, man.
I think Tim's all right.
Okay, shut up, Dwight. Shut up, Dwight. In our old office, if you worked
You are a
past
big Dwight.
if you
to be
worked
Fuck
past 9 p.m., sometimes the printer would just start printing stuff. You'd be the only one there. Phones would ring and ring, but when you'd answer, no one would no one's there. Sorry, I can't English. Lights flashing on the intercom.
fair. Was that in the story? Yeah.
No, that wasn't part of it. I just had a stroke midway through.
as a podcast host, you've got to like flesh this out and make sure that we're aware. Okay, Dylan, you got that?
Okay.
I feel like that was really
That-
threatening.
that was really
I was trying-
serious.
I was
I
trying to do
felt-
like a really serious character,
was-
but I feel like it was too real.
I felt really scared then. I thought you were about to
I
stab me.
I thought it'd be funny to go real, but it was just a bit scary and threatening.
No, that was scary. Okay. I'm okay.
Where were we?
The phone would ring and ring, but when you answer, no one's there. Lights flashing on the intercom, but no one was around. Those were some weird nights.
Sounded like song lyrics.
Yeah.
Rap to it right now.
Hang on.
No.
No, I can't be asked. I'll put a B under what you were saying, and then people won't understand why until they hear this bit.
Okay,
I
they'll
think
be
that's
like, why
fine.
the fuck is Dylan
Just make it
start rapping?
Make it a really horribly arranged.
Can it be
drum.
I'll
really
make it using like
offbeat?
I'll make it using like garage band loops and stuff like that.
Just have random hi hats every now and then.
Okay, I'm glad.
This isn't to do with well, it's kind of to do with the story, but when you said like the printers would just randomly print, it reminded me of a funny idea me and my mates like were like pitching to each other like as a joke. But like imagine if faxes were still around and how memes would be shared with faxes. So
Oh,
like so
shit.
you'd be asleep at night and people would just keep sending images of Shrek and you'd wake up with like 100 images of Shrek just like
You
all
just have
over
a
your
pile
room.
of them.
And
You'd
And
be
people
like,
just keep faxing you shit. Like
Oh, that'd be so
faxes could not exist in the meme days because you just wake up to like
Yeah.
50 shit memes on your floor, and I think that's so good.
that'd be so funny. Okay,
Yeah, I would abuse
okay.
that system.
Who wants to go next?
Well, all three of us
I don't
should
know,
buy
Dylan, you choose.
faxes.
I'm not good at making choices. Who wants to go next?
Just do any.
Okay, okay.
mine,
Eeny, meeny, miny, moe, catch a fish, if it's hurt, if it goes, let it go. It is not you. Gideon, you're going.
Okay, good, because I didn't
Okay.
have my story up.
God damn it, Niall. You're going.
So my story is called "But Can I Get Mayfair?"
What?
It
Is
makes
that a
sense when you
Monopoly
hear-
reference?
Yes.
I just looked through it. I just scanned it looking for the word Monopoly. I can't see it, but maybe I've missed it. Okay. When my grandparents bought their first house, my grandpa found a fake wall upstairs. He tore it down to make more room for their family. Behind the wall were children's clothes and toys, almost like whoever lived there left in a hurry. My mum told stories of her sitting in her room and how something was tearing at the walls around her. When she moved out, my aunt moved her into the same room. She would wake up with pictures she hung up, laying on her chest in the morning. My cousins also
Like
have
a fax
similar stories.
Shut
machine.
up about your fax machine.
There were pictures of Shrek. My cousins also have similar stories, and I still don't go upstairs at their house because it's always cold, and I get weird vibes up there. Even in my adult life, I refuse.
Imagine going to your cousin's house to like pick something up that you've like borrowed from them, and they're like, "Oh, it's upstairs. Just come with me and get it." No, I get a weird feeling up there.
No.
This goes wobbly.
There's weird vibes.
Yeah, that's
Right, do you not get the joke though? Do you not get the joke?
not
But
really.
Can I Buy Mayfair? It's about buying a house. Do you not get the
Dave.
joke?
No,
No, I think you should just read it.
I
Damn
think we
it.
should just kick Dylan
I
from the
work
podcast.
hard on these jokes and nobody appreciates it.
There's a reason the podcast was better than when you weren't here. I don't mean that. I don't mean that.
Definitely
Justice for
wasn't.
Dylan.
It definitely
Justice
wasn't. It was
for
much
Dylan.
worse.
I
Apart
think-
from Tilly, she was good on that episode.
God damn it! You replaced me with Tilly. I
Yeah.
felt so betrayed.
We
But,
didn't do it on purpose.
You agreed
I
to
did.
it.
No,
I was like,
no,
guys,
no.
would it be funny?
Guys, we need to stick to the story where she crashed the
sorry,
episode.
I didn't even
keep
know
the
Tilly
illusion.
was
And
there.
She didn't even know that
I
was
was
And not
having
the
such
story where-
bad tech problems.
She did not give approval.
We
I was having
shouldn't. We
such
shouldn't
bad tech
peel back the
problems.
curtain and say that it was actually Dylan's idea. We need to keep the illusion.
It was my idea,
We
guys.
did
It was
because
not my
we
idea.
We didn't even realise it wasn't.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
felt so
crazy.
betrayed.
And kind of
But
sexist.
I find it a really big compliment that, like, when I'm not there, you guys seem to think it's, like, not fitting. I don't know why, but that just seems like a huge compliment to me. Because, like,
The couple of episodes we had
Aw.
without you were very weird. Especially like the
Yeah.
episode that went unreleased. It just didn't sort of work. Not
In
having the
between,
third
yeah.
person
I think
without
I
you.
keep. I think I'm like the ringleader and a chaos in one.
We all bring like
I think,
a level
yeah, we're
to
all
the
like,
podcast
you know, the
that
whole
when it's
lawful, neutral, chaotic,
Yeah.
neutral,
And
that
lawful,
whole
and
graph.
lawful.
I feel like we're all a
We're
different
all
level.
Which is gonna-
chaotic.
and it's gonna make it very interesting when we have like a guest on and there's 4 of us on the one episode, seeing how that balances out.
Because the dynamic
Yeah.
throws itself when you add something new. Because, like,
'Cause-
it just does.
Yeah.
And also, if we waste a guest time by recording it and then going, "Oh, we just didn't think it was very good. We can't upload it." Like,
Yeah, I would feel a bit.
Yeah. Because
So,
when we
look-
record and it fails, we're like, oh, this is shit.
yeah,
Because then they'd be like, I think they'd think it was because of them.
Yeah, and you don't want
Yeah.
to put that on someone. Because, like, when
So,
we
look-
fuck up, we feel bad, and we don't want to put that on someone else.
but it also will massively depend on the guest because there's a couple of episodes of podcasts that I've listened to that are very guest focused, where they have good guests on and it's a great episode. But then sometimes they'll have a shit guest and it brings down the
So
whole
you're
episode.
telling us, if an episode sucks and a guest is on it, we can blame the guest.
No, but the listeners
That is
can.
We just
entirely
said we
what I
didn't want to
just
do
heard.
that. We just
That's
said
no,
we didn't want to do
that's
that.
some great logic. Okay, now tell your story.
Okay, now I'll
Right,
tell you. a
this
story.
one is called Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again.
Oh, great.
Which, can I just say, the episode that we did that was just spooky stories, I outroed with that song, and I think
I
it
was
sounded
gonna
very
say-
satisfying.
What is our obsession with Mamma Mia? Like you did the review,
Mamma mia!
the very stereotypical Italian review as well. You said,
Which I felt was a bit racist, maybe.
Yeah, but it's
It is a bit,
funny.
but literally, the
I
newest,
like
we
this
were literally
podcast
the
more
newest
than
one-
talking about
spaghetti.
racism earlier in
the
this
newest
podcast.
one has you and me singing at the very end, and we sound like we're dying.
I might try and put in like a funny thing at the end of each episode, but I've just got to
Shall
rely
we
on
all
you not
sing?
doing funny things.
Shall we all sing the intro to Africa by Toto at the end?
Didn't we sing a song earlier?
Did
Oh,
we?
it was the Fresh Prince theme.
Maybe Gideon
Yeah.
should
I've just-
rap it properly.
No, I actually don't know the whole thing.
If you change the lyrics, we can class it as parody, so look.
I could get
no
my
pressure.
ukulele
No,
and we
not
could
happening.
really badly sing Riptide.
Not happening.
Anyway, this episode's nearly an hour long. Let me go on with this story.
Come on,
Oh,
Yeah,
Niall.
read your damn story.
Mamma Mia, here we go again. A couple of friends were around my house and we ordered pizza round to eat it. What else would you do with pizza?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Once we began eating,
But I
I
was
immediately-
tired when I was writing these back up. You know, I had to take them and then grammar check them. I didn't check them properly.
so this was one that you wrote back up.
I wrote
From the
all of them
website.
back up. I
Interesting.
wrote all of them back up.
Even the one that you made up.
Entirely, yes. That's what I do. I grammar check my shit. Apparently I didn't do it for this one.
Once we began eating, I immediately stopped as the sauce didn't taste right. I thought
So you're like, oh no, there's something spooky going on
Yeah.
here.
I thought it could have been sickness, so I asked my friends to go home. The next morning, I was watching the news and found out
That is so unreasonable. Who gets a slightly weird tasting pizza and orders their friends
Yeah.
to leave?
No, yeah, that's so
Like,
weird.
just imagine them. They take one bite of the pizza and they're just suddenly
This is
screaming,
fucked. Get out.
Get out!
Yeah, they're
Get
just
out!
like, Mamma Mia!
Get out of my
I like
house!
to
You're
think,
going to
because
die
this
if
is
you
about
don't.
pizza, I like to think they're all Italian in a non-racist way. But they're all just screaming in Italian
Hey,
accents.
get out!
This pizza is not very good.
Hey, Tony, get out of my house.
Carry on.
You can say New
Carry on,
York.
carry
though.
on.
Yeah, no, it's like mafia. Italian
Okay,
mafia.
okay.
Yeah, but we didn't say Italian
Um,
New Yorkers.
But right. Once we began eating, I immediately stopped as the sauce didn't taste right. I thought it could have been sickness, so I asked my friends to go home. The next morning,
I just find it. I'm sorry.
I
I,
need
find
to-
it so funny that they kicked them out.
the next morning, I was watching the news and found out the police couldn't find a body of a man who had been murdered yesterday night near my area. Holy shit!
How does this link to the pizza?
Because it was his blood as the sauce.
Dylan, I hope you didn't write this.
I
I'm
think
not
that's the
gonna lie.
one Dylan wrote.
Oh, is that it?
That's
is that
the
it?
whole story.
I thought there was
That's
gonna be some
the
explanation.
entire
There's just no
story.
explanation. For all of you that don't know spooky stories, when I get my stories, unlike these two, I actually try to change all the grammar in all the stories so they kind of fit a similar vibe. Because, like,
And this
You
time
know,
it
I
did
just
not
tried-
work.
it didn't work because I had a stroke doing this, and my friend Brianna tried to help me desperately. But yeah,
Damn it, Brianna, you ruined the
Brianna!
whole episode.
we can
Fuck
blame
you,
the
Brianna.
guest.
My audio's gone all weird, so if people are listening to this and the audio sounds bad, I think
That's a you
something has
problem.
happened. It's not anything with my.
That is
I'm
a
just
big
looking at the
you problem,
waveforms,
to
and I
be fair.
think a
Yeah.
fan has turned on and gotten very loud. I think
Well-
it's because I've got my mic
I
near
can't
my.
hear anything.
Because ICQ does some automatic level change and stuff. But I think it's because I've got my mic near both my laptop and my Xbox, and the fans have just kicked in on both of them at the same time.
What, have you got your Xbox turned on?
No, but it'll probably be doing
Is it
some
just
sort of.
overheating?
It'll be doing some sort of update, which it does automatically. So
Right.
look, sorry if that's happening,
So-
but
Which story do you think is fake, lads?
I'm just gonna come out and say I think I think Dylan's is a real one. It's between mine and Niles.
You
I
could
mean,
make it a
Miles is-
competition if you wanted.
Niles is incredibly stupid, but mine also has the word vibes in it.
which is a very Dylan thing to say.
That's a very Dylan word.
I'm not gonna
Okay,
say anything. I'm
um,
not gonna say anything.
I don't want to cause any competition bias. I'm just gonna message you, Dylan.
Okay.
Oh,
you can do the
okay.
same. Because I just
Okay.
don't want to cause
I like
competition.
this.
Yeah,
okay, I'm gonna have a look
that's
at
good
it.
because we have. Yeah, don't
I'll
message it in the
reveal.
group chat.
You
that's a
two
bad
can
idea.
both say what you've said afterwards. Yeah.
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 But yeah, I desperately need help with these spooky stories. So if you want to send me them, send me them.
Yeah.
I will take them. I will shout out who sent me it if it's real. I won't say if it's real or fake, but send me real ones, send me fake ones. I'll just say you sent me it.
Okay. Now, have you told Dylan
Okay.
what you
Can
thought?
you announce what you have said? Because you both sent them in.
I think that mine is the fake one, simply because of the word vibes.
I think that pizza was a fake one, so even if we were doing it for a
Oh, there's
competition,
competition
it
anyway.
would have been the same answer. What
So-
a fucking waste of time.
I can announce.
It might not
I
have
can
been.
announce. One of
Imagine if
you
it's Dylan's.
is right.
Okay, so one of us is right. Okay.
Okay.
Please, because I'm so bad at this segment, I always lose. I'm praying.
Gideon, you are really bad at it. Niall is correct.
Oh, not again.
My friend.
I didn't think
right,
any of the spooky
Brianna
story.
wrote that one.
Oh, did Brianna
wrote
write
that
the word
one.
vibes? Damn it, I didn't
Brianna
think about
wrote
that.
all of them. She gave me the idea for the pizza
Oh,
one.
I didn't
She
think
literally
about
just
the word
said
vibes.
pizza, but the sauce didn't taste right, and then I just went off of that.
Brianna,
I
you
didn't
are the
think about the fact
secret.
that Brianna might have
We should
written
get
the word
You
Brianna
are
on
the
this at some
secret
point.
fourth host of
I
this
was trying to be
podcast.
I was trying to be nice to Brianna earlier, but I hate
We
her
should
now.
get
I'm a
Brianna on the
big fan.
podcast.
I'd be calm with that. If you
She-
Well,
don't,
your opinions
don't-
change quickly now.
don't message her asking. Wait until she hears this.
And then
And
she'll
this
like,
will
Dylan,
be
what
the
the
This
fuck?
is your invitation.
Yeah.
This is the invitation.
Yeah,
Look,
she's just
yeah, and
gonna.
once
You don't
you
get a
hit-
choice.
This is a true test to see if she listens, and then message Dylan whether you want to be on or not.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
There might be some betrayal
get a
going on
message.
here. Oh my god.
Brianna,
We're about to
that's-
ruin a friendship.
Oh no!
Oh no, what have we done?
And that concludes this big bullshit episode
This
of
was a
MTO.
great episode.
This was
No,
this was
this
good.
was,
This was
uh,
good.
It was a bit of a
Yeah.
clusterfuck, but I think we really brought it back at the end, lads.
Yeah.
did
Well,
well.
I wouldn't say like that. Like I just think it's
I
like
think
we
it
we
was-
talked some serious stuff, but we also got the comedy in there.
It was a
been an
roller
all-round-
coaster.
Yeah. But everyone loves
Yeah.
roller coasters.
I
We've got to do
don't.
a video at a theme park. I don't know how that'd work,
I-
but we've got to
I do.
do that.
Well, yeah, I mean, in the one that just me and you did, no, we had some sick ideas.
Oh,
Have you
yeah.
listened to that one, Dylan?
I've listened to them, but I have no idea what you said. Like, I have really bad
So
memory.
we think try and do an episode like at a theme park, so we can do them on the roller
Yeah,
coasters.
I'm gonna
and that might
buy
be
like a
fun.
portable
I
recorder.
think yeah, I know what you said. Yeah.
Yeah, there was quite a few.
So we're
That's
gonna
where
do
we
one
go
on a
for
Ferris
reference.
wheel. We're gonna try doing it on a roller coaster. We're gonna try.
We're gonna do an escape.
You're just gonna
room.
hear me
Yeah.
screaming because I scream a lot when I get scared or excited.
Yeah, I'm very much the guy whose face is just blank.
So,
on a roller coaster.
Niall,
I
what are
wonder
you?
if. What
Why are
do
you
you
on
mean?
a roller
Oh,
coaster?
I'm the guy who's just having a fun time.
Are you the one that laughs
Yeah.
to himself when he's on it?
Right. So right, what I actually am on a roller coaster is I queue up in the line and I'm fine. I'm just chatting. It's no big deal. I'm just sort of stood there. I get on the ride. The belt goes on. The
And then you
moment
start
the belt
breaking it.
goes on, I'm starting to get a little freaked out. Then we start going up that hill, and I'm like, oh, okay, I might have just made a choice that kills me, but okay. But then after the first drop happens, I'm just having a fun time. I once got.
Yeah.
Right, I know this podcast has gone on for too long, but if we're talking about roller coasters, I'm telling this story.
Okay.
Have you ever been on a roller coaster and like I'm not talking like one of the kiddie ones, like
No.
a proper shut up, not a proper like big major roller coaster that has broken down whilst you're on it?
No, I have smacked my nose.
Not probably broken down. Once at Almond Towers, I can't remember what ride it was, but it sort of like we sort of stopped in the middle of it a bit, but it got going again after like a minute, and then it was fine. But I've never been on one that's properly like broken
So
down.
have either of you been to Drayton Manor?
I have.
You know the old Ben 10 ride that got changed into like
Oh.
a car-based ride or
Oh,
something?
yeah.
I was on that, and that ride starts by like going backwards a bit and then launches you onto the rest of the ride.
Yeah.
So, and I was with my mate, who I think this was like, because in that day he went on his first roller coaster ever, and I can't remember whether it was
Yeah.
that one or the one we
Oh.
did before that, but he was very new
Okay.
to roller coasters. We went backwards. We were right at the top. He was already shitting himself, and then we just heard like this weird like scraping sound of the gears of just like,
Oh, don't
and
like
we were
that.
like.
That was a horrible.
Yeah,
noise.
yeah,
Why did you do
sorry.
Can
that?
somebody
And
make
I'm
that
just
sound
looking at my
clip?
audio recording and it's way too loud. But
Ugh.
and we were like, okay, it might not be supposed to make that noise. And then we just got stuck. And we were like, okay, it'll probably like pick up in a minute. Like the same as your one. We were like, it'll start going again in a
laughing,
minute.
It just reminds me of the meme of the people on the roller coaster that's stuck all like bouncing forward and back.
Oh,
Well, so-
God.
We were stuck up there. And I had my watch on me so I can tell you the exact time. It was like 15 minutes we were stuck up there.
Holy
And
shit.
we were freaking out. And so they
Jeez.
came up there.
That must have been scarring for him. To
Yeah,
be fair.
but they came up to us and like a couple of the employees were saying like, once we get you off, we're going to give you some vouchers so you can go get like a free coffee or something from the cafe. Great gesture.
Oh, how
Never
lovely.
got the fucking vouchers.
Yeah,
So
'cause
cheers.
That's a nice gesture, like, oh, we've just wasted 15 minutes of your day. I know you may be a bit traumatised for
And
life. so
maybe
we're gonna give
traumatised you.
vouchers,
We're
but,
going to give you
we
some
won't-
free
fuck
coffees.
you, we're not giving you them.
And so we sort of like waited around when we got off the ride. I'm skipping ahead in the story, but we sort of waited around and they were sort of, oh, well, I'll get to something else in a minute. But so
You know how you're like, oh, I know this is a really long podcast already. We'll wrap it
yeah,
up
no,
soon.
I just really love this story because there's some good twists in it. But so we were up there for 50 minutes, and like I was sort of looking down, and you're sort of like hanging off the edge of the ride slightly,
So
and I
like
could
that.
have sworn on anything that it was sort of like rocking side to side, and I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to freak anyone out. But I talked to my three mates who were on it with me after we got off, and I was like, and I know it was just placebo effect, but my brain was like, I swear it was like the thing was rocking back and forth, and they all sort of
Yeah.
look at each other
Ugh.
like, oh. And they were all like, yeah, we felt the same thing and we all thought it was placebo.
Oh.
So it would have just been shaking back and forth. But then, so basically, we get off the ride and they're like, look, You can stand it just sort of to this side if you want to go on it again after once we get it sorted, so you don't have to queue up the whole time again.
Did anyone wait?
So, well, me, the other two didn't, I think, but it was me and one of my mates decided to go on it again, along with a couple of other people. Now, I'm autistic, if
You're
people
a
don't
fucking
know.
idiot.
So I get
You nearly
to...
died
No, I'm
once,
not
you
saying...
go, "This'll
I'm not
be
saying...
fun, let's
no,
do
listen,
it
I'm
again."
not... Listen,
Dylan, it sounded
listen,
really bad
listen.
him saying he's autistic and then you saying, "Oh, you're an idiot."
Because that's not what I meant
I'm
by
not
it.
gonna lie.
I
it
actually am
sounded-
autistic, for people listening who think I'm making
He
that as a
is,
joke.
he
I
is,
genuinely am.
But he is
And,
also a fucking idiot.
Listen. Stop interrupting me. We don't have time
No.
for this. So, basically, right. I'm autistic, so I get to skip the queues at lines for different reasons because it counts as a disability. So
But
at
it's
theme
just as
parks,
I get what you mean.
I can go I can skip the queues with up to 3 people, so that'll make this MTO
Jeez,
video
man, I'm going to a
efficient.
theme park with
But,
you at some point.
No,
So-
you best take us.
There's a specific queue for that, for people who can skip the queue because they're disabled. So to test the ride, we were basically used as like test dummies to see if it was still working, which we weren't aware until after we got off the ride. But so instead of letting people from the standard queue on to test it out, they just
that
opened
legal?
the disabled gates and let all of the disabled like ones of us get on the ride and be the test dummies.
Oh.
I'm gonna make another in-betweeners reference that didn't want
Yeah, no, I know what you're
thinking.
thinking.
Theme park without thinking of that one. No.
Yeah, but like, so that was, and like, I didn't realise until after we got off and realised, oh, they hadn't like officially opened the ride back up yet. We were being used to test if it was still working. And then my mate just sort of turned to me and went, wait, hang on, weren't all the people they let on from like the queue jump queue that is only for people with like autism and like different disabilities that mean they can't queue up and stuff? And we all just sort of looked at each other and were like, they used the disabled kids as guinea pigs. It's so messed up. So look, when we do the video for Drayton Manor, we're gonna have to figure out a way for me to take my revenge on that.
Yeah, we will.
Oh, we
Maybe
hide under the
we
ride
go
and I
there.
start just like
Because,
ripping
to
out
be fair,
cables.
I think if we are going to do our episode like at a theme park, we should do it on Towers because
Yeah.
realistically it's better.
It's just a bit more difficult to get to, but I'd be fine with that.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we could all arrange travel to go there together.
Yeah. Well, and what I think is like we could do like a podcast there on like one of the rides or something, and like try and figure out
We
a
can do
way
one
to
little
record.
like challenge on the rides,
Yeah.
and then we could actually record the rest.
I don't know
Not
for YouTube and stuff. I don't know how we'd record, like, because recording in an escape room or even like a Ferris wheel is easy enough. I don't know how we'd record on a ride because it's not like we can be like
we could
holding
We
the
can get,
mic
like, a
between
camera.
the three of
Like
us.
GoPros.
But all you'd
that-
hear in the
but
background
I-
is just me screaming.
And the wind.
Yeah.
I did ask if I could film for YouTube when I went to Drayton Manor, and they said no. Because I was going to try and do
Yeah.
something there. So, look, but there's some people that do get permission to do it. But I think you have to have, like, the correct equipment to, like, bolt it to the, like, things. To the rails.
I think
so.
even if they don't let us record video, they'd let us record audio. So if needs be, we could just do it as an audio one.
If we
But
get,
that'd
like,
be a bit
if
dead.
we get lapel mics and I put, like, a portable recorder in my pocket,
Yeah.
yeah, like clip-on mics onto
Just
our
get one of
shirts or
those like
something. I don't know.
secret spy cameras. Like, it looks
I
like
just
a
feel like
badge.
I feel like it'd be, like, unlistenable, because it'd just be, like, wind hitting the mic.
You just hear.
It would literally, and then you
Ah!
just faintly hear someone.
Yeah.
It's
Look,
me.
so we might not be able to do a podcast on there, but we'll definitely do a video at some point. We'll do a podcast on a Ferris. They'll have a Ferris wheel there,
What
so we
if
could do a podcast
what
on a
if
Ferris
what
wheel
if what
there.
if
They have a sort of Ferris
What-
wheel
what
sort of
if-
ride where the pods like
what if
rotate.
what if
Yeah.
what if what if what if what if we get enough followers? Niall will take us to Alton Towers.
What
do you mean? What do you mean?
Because
I
Niall's
take
the
you?
leader.
I know he's the guy who
Niall's
does
the
everything.
leader.
But he's not like
so
a
if we
CEO.
got like 1K or like
he's not. He's not
2K,
our boss. He's
or,
just
like,
the guy who does
3K.
everything.
Yeah, no, I'm not your boss or like the founder
No,
of
I
Emteo.
think
I'm
it's
just
a
Words of
great
Peter
I'm the
idea.
on-
I am Niall's
I'm
agent.
the only one of us talented enough to edit this.
Right. I know that me and Gideon have 3 brain cells that are shared between us, but I say that we.
Excuse me. Speak for yourself.
Right, okay,
When-
I
walk
have
around the
3
school while
brain
having
cells.
email.
I have 3 brain cells because I'm fortunate enough to have that. I think this is a great business idea. And I definitely think we should go with this business venture.
Great. Okay.
This
we
has
should-
been a
this
long
doesn't even need to
outro.
be in the episode. This
I'm
doesn't even
sorry,
need to be in the
whoever's been
episode.
I'll
stuck
keep it
for,
in
like,
because I
10
can't be
hours.
asked to edit. I did say
That's
like an
fair
hour
enough.
and a half ago, oh, I've got maybe like 30 minutes to record because I've got something I've got to do today.
You did.
So look, this has been a long outro, but we'll see you in a bit. Thanks for
Bye.
tuning in.
Yeah.
Donate to the GoFundMe for like all the Black Lives Matter stuff in the description.
Be
Sign the
safe during
petitions, all
Pride
that.
Fall.
Yep. Stay safe, everyone. We'll see you in a
Bye.
bit.
Bye. Okay, so what do we want to talk about on the next episode then? So I haven't really got anything planned,
we're all
have we?
teenagers, so like, is there anything we have like in common?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Sex.
That's such
Deserved death.
That's such a good joke.
Where did that come
I think you should put that at the end of the episode.
Should that be like our teaser for the next one?
That should be it. That should be it.
No, because our next episode isn't going to be about that.
MTO Quarantine Catch Up 12. Sex.
Okay, well, if this is the end at the end of this episode, bye again.
Bye.
Oh yeah, bye everyone.
You're cool.